Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. For the first, let me introduce myself. My name is Firmanda Rahmanisa Hikmah. For the short name is Nanda, and my student identity number 211 073 1035, and I am from group 3. Me and my friend will explain a little about syntax. The first part is the understanding of the syntax, which will be explained by me. Okay, the first part is what is syntax. In linguistics, the word of syntax comes from a Greek that is combination of the word synt, which means is joint, and taxis, which means is sequence. So syntax is a linguistic science that studies the rules that determine how words form phrase and phrase form sentence. Okay, the second is a clause. The clause consists of free clause and bound clause. 1. Free clause, namely clause that have a complete structure and can stand alone. For example, she cries. 2. Bound clause is a clause where structure is incomplete and cannot stand alone. In contrast to the free clause, it can stand alone, while the bound clause cannot stand alone. Based on its function, the bound clause is divided into two. First, noun clause. A clause that acts as a noun is marked by the presence of WH word, how and that. For example, the student listened to what the teacher said. What the teacher said is noun clause. Second, adjective clause, which is a bound clause that acts as an adjective characterized by the presence of relative pronouns, namely who, whom, which, whose, and that. For example, the woman who is talking with my mom is my homeroom teacher. Who is talking with my mom is an adjective clause. Third, adverb clause. A bound clause that acts as an adverb is indicated by subordinative conjunction. For example, he ran the race as though his life depends on it. As though his life depends on it is an adverbial clause.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself first. My name is Amanda Titian Pamedia Azri. You can call me Tian. My student identity number is 2110731019. I want to explain about syntactic categories definition. A syntactic category is a set of words and phrase in a language which share a significant number of common characteristics. The classification based on similar structure and sameness of distribution and not on meaning. In generative grammar, a syntactic category is symbolized by a node label in a constituent structure tree. There are three categories of syntax. First, classes of words. In classes of words, there are noun and adjective. Second, there are major classes of verb, are transitive verb and intransitive verbs. Third, function of word, there are preposition, determinants, verba auxiliaries, degree words, and conjunction. And I want to explain about what is phrase. In linguistic analysis, a phrase is a group of words that function as a constituent in the syntax of a sentence, a single unit within a grammatical hierarchy. A phrase doesn't contain a subject and verb, consequently cannot convey a complete thought. Phrase contrasts with a clause. A clause does contain a subject and verb, and it can convey a complete idea. The phrases are generally of 6 types. First, adjective phrase, adverbial phrase, professional phrase, conjunctional phrase, interjectional, noun phrase, and phrase. Maybe that's enough. Thank you.
Hello guys, my name is Adi Darmawan. My student identity number is 2110731017. Okay, I will explain about the purpose of syntax. The study of syntax on the college ladder, particularly in the language study program, will profoundly influence the thinking structure of analyzing sentences. Simple forming of sentences into complex ones utilize the skill of understanding syntax. The characteristic of the syntax of a language enable learner to compose different sentences that have that same meaning. There are 3 points in the purpose of syntax. Number 1, knowing what words can be put together in a sentence. Number 2, knowing if the sentence is good or bad. And the last one, can know the pattern of word formation. Next, about characteristic of sentence. In other words, a complete English sentence must have 3 characteristics. In other words, a complete English sentence must have 3 characteristics. First, in written form, a sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a period, a note of interrogation, or a note of exclamation. Second, it must express a complete thought, not fragmented. Third, it must contain at least one subject, hidden or visible, and one verb comprising an independent clause. An independent clause contains an independent subject and verb and expresses a complete thought. Okay, next discussion about sentence. What is sentence? A sentence is the large unit of any language. In English, it begins with a capital letter and ends with a full stop, or a question mark or an exclamation mark. The sentence is generally defined as a word or a group of words that expresses a thorough idea by giving a statement or order, or asking a question or exclaiming. The example, number 1, he is a good boy. In the sentence as statement. Number 2, is he a good boy? In the sentence as question. And the last one, what a nice weather. In the sentence as exclaiming. Alright, that's the presentation of the material from our group, namely the syntax, the study of grammar. We hope that you can understand our presentation. If there is an error, be it from the presentation of the material, pronunciation, and so on, we apologize. We end with wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.